Anthony, can you please introduce yourself? Anthony Me Power, can you please introduce yourself? Right. It appears that there is a break somewhere, so I'll just skip from there and then we can come back to you at a later time. Ethel, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Daniel. Hi.
I was on mute. Yeah, hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I just joined, so I don't know.
Please give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Okay, I'm Daniel Ameya and an application developer. I got this link yesterday, but a colleague of mine sent it to me, and it sounds exciting. So I just can't wait to hear the speakers.
Right, great. We hope that this is up to your expectation and you're able to learn something obviously out of this. And whilst we're still going on with the introductions, I want to remind everyone, any participant today who has not registered, that the link has been sent. So anyone who has not registered, kindly follow the link to register. Thank you. Frank Kalabamu, can you please introduce yourself to us?
Yes,
Frank, if you can.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, my name is Frank Kalabam. I work as a business development here at Beam. Also interested in learning more about data and how it can help businesses as well.
Great. You're welcome, Frank. Thank you so much for joining. David Kimani, can you please introduce yourself? David, if you can hear me, you are on mute, so if you're speaking, please introduce yourself. Right, okay, that's well, okay then. We'll move on from there. Maureen, can you please introduce yourself to us?
Hello everyone, hope you can hear me. My name is Maureen. I work for Beam as a digital and content marketing manager. Looking forward to the session.
Great, thank you. Thank you for joining, Maureen. Thank you. Selim, can you please introduce yourself? Selim.
Hi, everybody. My name is Salam and I work at Beam.
Great. Right. You're welcome, Selim. Thanks for making the time to join us. Henry Jate Mensah. Can you hear me, Henry? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mabel.
Right. So thank you all once again for joining us. Please leave your name, your organization, and the role you play in the chat. So we want to move on from the introductions into the actual reason why we're here, move on into the discussions. So we thank you all so much once again from Superfluid. We are grateful to you for making the time to join us on this event. This event is the maiden edition of our business growth series. This event is sponsored by Superfluid Labs in collaboration with Beam Africa. My name is Mabel Edibiabedu and I work as a data analyst with Superfluid Labs. I'll be moderating today's event. So without wasting much time, I want to give a few housekeeping rules and then we can move on quickly. As would all realize, our mics are muted to begin with, but we would love to keep the session as interactive as possible. We want to hear from you at different points during the conversation. And so we ask that you send us your questions and your comments. Kindly use the chat feature in the panel. If you have any questions, please leave those there and we'll attend to it during the course of the conversation. As part of the registration also, we asked you to drop some questions that you'd want answered. So we'll get to that during the course of the interactions as well. We really value your feedback and your output, and so send us your questions. Let's keep this as interactive as possible. So without wasting much time, I'd hand over to Winifred to give us a brief introduction to the Business Growth Series. Winifred is the COO of Superfluid Labs. Winnie, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. We are so glad to have you join us in our maiden edition of the Business of Data and Analytics for Business Growth. And our goal is to deliver awesome content for business growth, leveraging data and analytics for free. So we are really excited to have several of you make time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Without wasting much time, we'll kick straight in. So the world was already transitioning to leverage more digital technologies for the delivery of services and to optimize various operational areas in a lot of organizations and businesses, and even in institutions and government. And then COVID happened. And we suddenly realized how powerful data and analytics is to the everyday life of different various organizations, to individuals, to businesses. Last 2 years, we all started realizing the importance of numbers and checking active virus cases, infected, healed, and unfortunately those who passed on. And it defined how countries conducted their operations, their business, how even human freedom was affected. So data analytics is really, really key and very, very valuable and powerful. So our objective here today and going forward is to introduce this new market engagement sessions online for free. And during these sessions, we have an objective. What is the objective? To help businesses take advantage of the available and exponentially growing data, big data for business growth around various aspects of the needs of businesses, around the objectives of stakeholders, around the objectives of various personnel who work within organizations. And we will do this by sharing relevant knowledge, answering questions for free, providing experts advice and expert deep dive sessions, and then also showcase and put spotlights on examples and application areas of data and for business growth, and where others are using it and which industries are using which aspects of data and analytics for what purposes, so that we can all learn, we can all take advantage of the data that is growing around us, and we can enjoy profitable business growth. Without talking much, I'll just do a little introduction of who we are. This program is brought to you by Superfluid Labs, and we are a data and analytics company with the objective to deliver data intelligence to provide competitive advantage for businesses. We help businesses make intelligent customer decisions for profitable growth, and we do this around the areas of credit risk assessment, around personalized marketing and engagement. All right. So who are our primary customers? So our primary customers are businesses that are using technology to serve a growing consumer market and who really take advantage of delivering personalized offerings based on customer activities, customer engagements, customer behavior, and the data within the market to deliver personalized offering for customer retention and profitable growth. And in cases of lending, to make profitable lending decisions. We've been around for a while, but one of the most important things we like to speak about is about the recent recognitions we've had. So we are judged the best data and analytics credit risk scoring company in 2020 by the African Tech Summit. And we were also mentioned as part of the companies inspiring Africa in 2019 by the London Stock Exchange Group. We are a multinational company serving several businesses within Africa, Europe, and then US. How do we do what we do? How do we take advantage of data and analytics for profitable business growth? We do this in these 4 steps to give us the results we desire. So first, we take advantage of available business data. And for business data, we are looking at sales, transactions, financial data, farm record, farm yield, satellite data, credit reference reports, and all sorts of data related around sales, related around customer engagements and interactions, related around market information, and other variables that affect the business. So we're able to harness all of that data. And for consumer lifestyle data, we're able to work with data like phone data record, like SMS, engagements, different aspects of lifestyle data that exists within a person's engagements with various service providers. We leverage this, we do analysis on it, and we provide valuable insights to answer specific business questions and business needs so that stakeholders can take decisions based on this, or other systems and services can take advantage of these insights or predictive models and then take actions which results in business growth. So for instance, in cases of lending, which is one of the most popular application areas for capabilities, some of the actions are: who do we lend to? Who are the most profitable customer segments we should be targeting for loan products? How much of capital or money should we finance, should we give out to a prospective borrower? And then what should be the tenor and duration of such a loan product? So those are specific business actions, and when they happen, it results in business growth, which is the desire of every business owner and every stakeholder within a business and an organization. So for us, we deliver these results through our enterprise intelligence platform, which is a very powerful platform, harnessing a variety of data sets and unlocking valuable business outcomes. So one of the main areas, which is also part of today's conversation, is around understanding customer behavior and profiles. Why is this important? The other panelists will be discussing this into further details. Acquiring and retaining and then upselling to profitable customers. Customer retention is very key to the survival of the business, but it's not every customer who is good for their business. How do we identify who is key, who is good, and who is best for their business? So we take advantage of that and with data and analytics. And then we also score and qualify customers for services through our credit risk scoring and consumer analytics platform. And we deliver automated and personalized engagements and marketing. We are all very excited when people remember something good about us. So when a business is able to deliver personalized offering based on the memory they have of a customer, it delights the customer and makes the customer think of the business whenever they need that service. So how can data and analytics be used to personalize engagements, to increase marketing, and to ensure that marketing results in the outcomes that we desire? These are all parts of the kind of things we'll be speaking about in our maiden conversation today. And we look forward to your questions. You can drop questions around any of these areas. I will be happy to answer them. So I'll try, in the interest of time, quickly move on from here, and then we can get started with our series today. These are some of our past customers, businesses we've served and are still serving. And we are happy to have your business logo here, joining the delighted customers who are taking advantage of data-driven analytics for growth. Our session for today. So today we are excited to welcome Timothy and then Taha, who will be introducing themselves and leading us in our conversations today. Thank you.
Winnie, kindly let me share my screen.
Yes, I'm stopping this.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Timothy here. So today we are looking forward to a very engaging discussion with all of you. Hopefully you can contribute. You've come with a lot of questions, a lot of examples from your own business that you are willing and ready to share. Taha and I will be facilitating. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tim. We
Yeah,
can.
we can hear you.
Excellent. Did you hear the introduction as well?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Great. I'm going to share my screen as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Excellent. All right. So today's discussion is data analytics. In the first edition of our business growth series is your business is like a hotel. How can data analytics help you? So I'm joined by Taha. Taha, say hi if you can hear me.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Taha. All right. Great. So Taha, just to dive straight into it. I mean, this is an interesting topic. Your business is like a hotel. I'm sure everyone is curious to find out, okay, how is my business like a hotel? I run a gym, I run a bank, a fintech. I mean, how could my business be like a hotel? So can you kick us off by just speaking about what and why we think every business is like a hotel in some ways, and we can take that as inspiration to learn how to apply data analytics for our businesses?
Yeah.
Hi, Taha.
I'll keep talking and then.
Yes, you can go on. Yes, no problem.
So I think, for those that don't know me, my name is Taha. I'm the CEO of Beam. We are a mobile and cloud communications company and work across a number of African countries. And we collaborate with Superfluid Labs on a number of initiatives. So to talk about, I think the hotel analogy was a very interesting analogy because everyone knows what a hotel is. Everyone has been to a hotel for the most part and is able to relate to that concept. So it was an easy analogy for folks to understand how every business can relate to these 5 key stages. And we can use the hotel as a way to, to learn from that example. So I guess as we continue, we'll talk about each of these steps and how the hotel relates to each step so that folks can understand that concept. Tim, you're on mute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so thanks for the setup, Taha. Very much appreciated. Sharing my screen again. Can you confirm if you can see it?
Yes.
All right, great. So every business must perform 5 key activities in the customer life cycle. These activities may be called different things in different industries, but generally, roughly, they fall into these 5 buckets. So the first one is around identifying who the ideal customer is for your business. Why is this important? This is important because different businesses are targeting different kinds of customers. So for example, you may be an organization that is looking at a mass market retail product, and for which reason you are looking for customers that are very sensitive to price, they're looking for value. You may also be a customer, a business that is offering a premium product, a luxury product, for which reason your ideal customer base would be individuals that may have more spending ability, or they may have a certain profile, maybe high net worth individuals. So for every business, it is really, really important to identify the attributes, the characteristics of the ideal customer for your business. Sometimes it happens that you have an idea for your business, you launch, you're not really sure who your ideal customer is, and you launch anyway. And then after some time, you are wondering, okay, what can I do to improve my business? And we can talk about this some more, but it is often possible if you already have a business that is running and you don't know who your ideal customer is, it is possible to look into your customer data and identify the groups of customers that are behaving in the way that you want, the customers that are transacting with you more often, more frequently. When they buy or they consume your services, they usually buy in bulk, they buy large amounts of it. If it's a banking product, they may transact high frequency, if it's a lending product, they may take a lot of loans. It could be different things. If it's a hotel, again, using the hotel analogy, this could be customers that visit your hotel once a month or multiple times a year. Obviously, those are customers that have the profile that is advantageous to your business. So you can actually, if you don't know the ideal customer to start off with, and you already have a business that is running, you can actually look into your data to identify the customers that are behaving in the way that you want, so that going forward, you now know that, okay, this is what my ideal customer looks like. So the next step is around acquisition. So Taha, when it comes to acquisition, how can data help us in this regard, or in what ways might we use data to improve the acquisition step of building any business?
I think this is sometimes easier in technology businesses, but any business can kind of really measure constantly, where they're getting most of their customers from, right? So this measurement all the way down to how much business this customer brings. So if you're getting most of your customers from online adverts, then you're able to track this customer came from this online advert and they gave me this much business. And then you can use that to optimize your marketing and better serve your existing customers or these new customers, So in a traditional business, let's say it's a hotel, are most of your customers coming through booking.com because you've listed your property there, or are most of these customers walk-in customers that are just coming? But even those walk-in customers, it's important to understand how they came, right? Did someone tell them about this, etc. So once you have identified the customer, which Timothy talked about, then you need to kind of measure and acquire those customers that are of your interest from the channel or marketing method that you find suitable. So in this hotel example, if your hotel is meant for business travelers, what is the marketing mechanism to really reach them? Maybe you have to advertise in flights or in an airline magazine. Maybe it's at business conferences that you have to advertise. So your audience will help you understand what methods to use, and you want to measure those methods so that it helps you target better.
Thanks so much for that, Tara. That's great. That's awesome. So we talked about identifying your customers, acquiring them. Okay, now once you've acquired a customer, what is the next step in the process? So the next step in the process is actually serving those customers, right? So again, depending on the nature of your business, serving the customers may mean different things. If it's a hotel and the customer has showed up, they're expecting to have a nice room, a clean room, peace and quiet. Maybe you are offering them other complimentary services as well, breakfast, etc., gym, swimming pool. That's what they've come for. If it is a retail shop, customers show up, they're expecting to find a selection of items that you advertise. And if it's a bookstore that they've come to, they're expecting to find the items that you are promoting as your brand. And that is what the third step in the process is, which is about serving those customers. Now, depending on the nature of your business, one way in which you can grow is to get customers patronizing your service at a high frequency. So again, in the case of a hotel, this is about whenever someone stays at a hotel, the longer they stay with the service, the better for the hotel because they charge per night. Or the more frequent times they come in a year, the better for the hotel. But in your business, in different industries, and I'll be curious to hear about different participants in this webinar, this panel discussion. In your industry, what can you do to increase frequency of customer activity in your line of work? In the case of, for example, if it's an e-commerce platform, frequency might mean you want customers that are ordering an item on the platform every week, once a week, or when they order at the same frequency, they are ordering larger quantities of items, larger value of items, right? So that is you providing the services and goods that you've promised your customers, and then the customers engaging with those goods or services as well. So this is the third step, which is around serving customers. And then we also have the fourth step, which is around retaining customers. Taha, could you speak a little bit about this fourth step as well? And perhaps in the case of, go ahead.
I think retaining customers, particularly, you spend a lot of time and effort and energy to identify your customers, then get them to your doorstep and serve them. And oftentimes, businesses, we forget that we need to keep retaining them and keep these customers loyal. And because you don't have to now keep acquiring new customers to keep growing your business. So, one of the examples is to have very strong kind of loyalty mechanisms so that customers feel rewarded for using your service or you're buying from you. And then they keep coming back. And in the case of hotel, the very common method hotels use is to give hotel points and rewards, so that the more times you stay with them, the more you spend with them, the more points you earn. And in the case of larger chains and establishments, you can use those points, redeem those points at any of their locations. Obviously, airlines use this a lot. People will be familiar with points in airlines, but this is just one example. Different businesses can create different kind of loyalty mechanisms. Sometimes it's just about creating specific offers for your existing loyal customers. So it could be something that you identify from your data, that these are my regular customers, and I need to create an offer specifically for them.
Thanks so much for that, Tara. And again, if you are curious about how in your industry, for your business, you might create a loyalty program, or you may be able to replicate something that looks like a point system, we'll be happy to have that discussion as well and explore what might make sense in the context of your business. But very often in the simplest case, you can always use the value of transactions that a particular customer is performing with your organization, or how much revenue they provide to your organization. That can be a benchmark or a way to identify which customers are high value, for which reason you want to retain them, want to keep them, and you want to reward them as well. There's another step in the process, which is the fifth step. And there's a bonus point, which Taha has hinted around as well. But in the fifth step, it's all about growing customer value. And usually the way you can grow customer value is by upselling or cross-selling the customers more items, right? So for example, again, going back to our hotel analogy, you go to a hotel, you book 3 nights there, you're in town for a conference or for a vacation, whatever it might be. But within the hotel, they may tell you that, oh, we also have, a spa, we also have a gym, we also have this other item, it's complimentary. But if you want to, it may be complimentary, or they charge you an extra fee for those other services, or they may tell you breakfast included, but lunch is not included, or dinner is not included. And so by encouraging you or giving the opportunity to participate or patronize other services that may not be included in the initial offer, that is upselling, that is cross-selling. And usually the best customers that you can target for your business for cross-selling and upselling are the best performing customers. So the same customers that you identified previously as needing to be retained because they are high value, they've been loyal, they transact a lot, usually also the best customers that you can offer more services and more goods to, so that they can actually patronize more. So you're getting more and more of their share of wallet, which is another terminology used. So this is cross-sell and upsell. And then loyalty. Tara talked about loyalty briefly as well. So again, how do you reward those customers that show loyalty to your brand? Because if you can come up with a program, like Tara mentioned, a point system, miles, whatever it might be in your industry or your context, that is one way for customer who has been with you, has a track record with you based on their data. You can give them special treatment in a way that if a competitor was to emerge in your market and they had the same offerings as you, because that competitor doesn't have the history of this customer and doesn't know that they are a very high value customer to you, the competitor would not be able to make a matching offer. So that is a big advantage that as a business you can establish by harnessing the data that you have in order to be able to serve your customers very well. There are also additional practical things that can be carried out to increase loyalty and promote your brand, word of mouth. So one of them is Net Promoter Score. If you're not familiar with what this term is, NPS, it is really that simple survey that you get every now and then that says, on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, how likely are you to recommend this product or this service to your friend? That is also another very good way of measuring both the satisfaction of your current customers with your services, and also for you to get a sense of which of your customers are likely to recommend your service to other customers, and also which of your customers are finding your services or a product to be a good fit for them, for which reason you can identify more of those customers so that you can acquire them, thus completing the loop. At this point, I wonder if there are any questions that have been shared in the chat. If there are any questions, feel free to type them up, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question or share your contribution as well. We'd love to hear from you.
Tim, maybe you go back to the 5 steps slide.
Great. So this is a summary of the 5 steps: identifying who your ideal customers or customer is, implementing effective mechanisms for acquiring them. Tara mentioned the fact that you may have your ideal customer or different segments of customers that you are serving. And for each of the segments, there may be different channels, different means by which you can acquire them. So some of them you may have ads on TV, ads online, you may go to industry associations, conferences. A lot of people love going to conferences because it is a good way, if it's an industry-focused conference, a good way for you to meet a lot of people that are working in a similar industry for which you may want to sell your services to, right? As opposed to you trying to visit them individually. And then they serve, retention, retain customers, and then upsell. Are there any questions or contributions from our participants based on what has been shared so far, based on your own experiences? We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, there are some questions from what was sent earlier, so we can go through some of those as well. Is that fine, Tim?
Yeah, of course. Mabel, kindly go ahead.
Right. So during the identify stage, you mentioned about identifying who a business's customers are, right? That's the first process to go through. Does that process also include what products to target to these specific customers? And can you speak also on how the quality of service ties into retaining customers?
Okay, that's a great question. So there are 2 questions, just to recap. One is around if you have multiple products, how does that affect how you identify your customers? And then the second one is around how does the quality of service delivery affect retention, right?
Yes, Tim.
All right, thanks. Tara, would you like to take one of the questions?
Yeah, I'll take the first one about multiple customers and multiple products and multiple. So this is probably the biggest challenge that a lot of larger businesses face. That they have a lot of products and they have a lot of customers, and they keep adding more products, and they're not sure who to identify for what product in terms of when you start marketing this new service or product. So again, data is crucial here to be able to identify the right kinds of customers for your particular product that you're trying to market. Because you're able to identify the characteristics of those customers that match the ideal customer for that product. Sometimes it can even mean that you need to reduce your products or reduce the segments that you're focusing on to be able to drive growth. So that's something we've also learned over time as a Beam, as a business, that sometimes you're trying to serve too many different kinds of customers with too many different kinds of products. And sometimes it's easier to focus on a few segments with the right products so that you can streamline your operations and keep that feedback loop going.
Thanks so much for that, Tara. So the second question around customer satisfaction and retention, of course. Whenever a customer decides to do business with any establishment, any organization, they are responding to a certain promise that you've made to them with your brand. They are expecting that, okay, if you run a fashion business and they've come to you, they're expecting that you produce an outfit for them that would be, it will fit them well, it will look good on them, and they'll be happy. That's the expectation. So whenever a customer engages with your brand and they are disappointed, either because you dropped the ball in serving them or you didn't identify the right customer, and so you promised a customer something different from what you are offering to them, then it's likely that they will be disappointed. And if they are disappointed, they may disengage from your services. So there's one quote that I often remember from Warren Buffett, and he said that you can organize a rock concert and it will be a success, to be successful. You can also organize a ballet and it will be successful. But if you organize a ballet and you advertise it as a rock concert, you have a big problem because you have a lot of disappointed people. And so it's all about what are you promising to which ideal customer and how well are you doing in actually serving whatever promise you made to them. And if you do that well, you can retain the customers and upsell them. If you don't do that well, then they can leave your business. And actually, one of the interesting points which Taha was mentioning about having multiple products, multiple customers is that, again, data analytics can help you identify which combination of products and customers may actually be bad for your business. And what do I mean by this? For example, if you're a business that has 3 different products, product A is super profitable and it is being patronized by 20% of your customers. Product B is, it's okay, so you're breaking even, it's being patronized by 60% of your customers. And then product C, you're losing money on that anytime you save because the price point just doesn't work, and that's being patronized by 20% of your customers. This is just a hypothetical example, but in this scenario, what can you do, right? Well, you can actually stop offering product C and you may be better off because instead of losing money, you at least go to not losing money over there. And those resources you can invest more into product A or improving product B so that you make money on that. So again, being able to look at which customers are interacting with which products, which of the products are you finding success with based on customer satisfaction and retention can allow you to refine who you identify, who you acquire, how you serve them, and even what price points you serve them at. Any other questions, Mabel, or from the?
Of course, there are some questions. So question here is that what are some of the key data analytics questions that a startup with little or no business data can ask?
That's good. I can take that.
Please.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so for a startup, one of the key questions is, who is your customer? Which targets of customer from the market are you desiring to be your best customer, to be those who visit and keep coming? So who is your customer? How are you going to serve them? Which channels of engagement do you have? So for instance, are you looking to leverage WhatsApp as your engagement channel? Are you looking to have a physical opening or service area? Are you looking to use social media? Is it something that is mostly going to originate from email? So what are the engagement channels and which data is going to be shared about the particular customer? So questions around the customer, their engagement channels, and how you'll be serving them. And then also frequency of engagement are all relevant data for the customer side. The next is customer data around your sales. How do you sell to customers? Frequency, amount, duration of the services. If it's a service, if it is a product, which kind of products are you looking to sell? So data around the sales, data around the customers, data around suppliers. If you are in a business where you have suppliers in your value chain, you need data around the suppliers. And then also, where possible, data around your market. So the market you find yourself in. So for instance, if you are into furniture business, what is the market looking like? Which other competitors are in the space? Are they delivering similar products as yours? What is different about yours? So if you can continually get data on the market to be relevant to your business as a startup. The next question is around questions and data around your growth projections. So what are you looking to achieve in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months, 24 months down the line? What is the objective? If you are looking to, let's say, grow the customers by some percentage, what is the formula? How are you going to make sure you achieve that target? And what are the key drivers for growth? So for instance, for the furniture business, once again, if you were selling school furniture to students, what is the main driver of growth for you? Would it be finding new schools that are coming up within the neighborhood and then or within your service zones to deliver this, to engage them, sell to them? Are you looking at replacing, having retained schools so that anytime a desk or furniture is broken within the school, you get an opportunity to sell, to replace that service? So all of those things are very key. So customers you look at serving, the sales, supplies, and then you also need data around the product. So what quantity, if there are products, if there are services you are offering, what does it require to provide the service? So for instance, if you were delivering, you had a restaurant as a startup, you're in the food business, and it takes you 20 sales chefs to produce and have the meals ready during lunchtime. It means all of those things are factors that you must consider and take data on, because the production becomes very critical to operations optimization, and data is so relevant across the various aspects. So this is how you should be thinking about it. Welcome any additional suggestions.
Thank you so much, Winnie, for touching on growth as well, because there were some questions on scalability and using data for profitability of your business. So I believe that was answered very well. There's a question here though, Tim. What are the main data compliance to be adhered for data to be valid to be used for business analytics?
Okay, that's a good question. So usually there are some best practices and there are also some characteristics of data. So we've talked about data a lot during today's session. And usually there are a number of V's that you should remember whenever it comes to data. So one of them is data volume, which it has to do with the size of data that you're working with. If you have more data, usually it's better than less. And then there's also data veracity, which speaks to how trustworthy, how truthful is this data. So for example, if in your restaurant, you have a point of sale system, and so whenever people come to your establishment and they purchase from you and they pay you, you can look at the transaction that actually happened. That data might be more reliable than if you were to ask someone to, estimate and tell you, okay, today how many guests came, and they are trying to recollect off the top of their mind. They may be right, but they could also be wrong. So there are certain, depending on how data is captured, there are certain data sources that may be less reliable, less verifiable, right? Which is another V. And then there's also data velocity, or data, the speed of the data. How fast is the data changing? So again, let's imagine that you are, again, somehow I'm stuck on the restaurant example. You're a restaurant, or even let's say you're a hotel. Let's say you're a hotel, and it is, I don't know, there's a big tournament happening. There are a number of guests expected in town during that tournament, and so you decided to expand your hotel or have more rooms, upgrade them so that you can actually serve more of those customers. If the information that you had, okay, to inform you to expand your establishment, to make those investments, is not bright, is not recent, is not up to date, it's possible that you can actually be expanding when you should not be expanding because the demand has actually subsided. or you can be shrinking when it's actually time to expand. So depending on your industry, having access to very recent, fast changing data is very important. And you having investing in terms of requirements, investing in the platforms, the capabilities to be tracking that data more regularly is very, very important. So again, if you are in the food industry, you are producing items and your demand, you are not able to estimate demand appropriately. It could be any other industry. If there's a delay, then you obviously have a big problem. So again, at the height of COVID, there was a lot of demand for nose masks, etc. If you got the timing wrong and you are trying to stock up when maybe there's not as much demand for nose masks anymore, then you are delayed. You have the data, it is right, but it is at the wrong time as well. So here are a few requirements that you should keep in mind. Data, having a good volume of data, having data that is verifiable, having data that is fast changing, but you're also tracking it at the pace at which the data is changing. So the data is changing quickly, you must also track it at that same pace as well.
Right. Thank you, Tim. That was very well answered. There are two questions here, so I'll say both at the same time, and then we can take it one at a time. So the first one is that how can one use data analysis to make some income, or how can one start a data analysis as a small business, right? And the second question is that there's been a lot of talk about acquiring data during the start of our business and using that throughout our business to be able to grow profits and also scale the business in general. That's how can we apply data analytics to our local businesses? So like someone who's running a small restaurant, like you mentioned before, or one of these small local businesses that we have, how can a business owner apply data analytics to it?
Sure, I can speak to the second question, and it might actually answer the first as well. So let's say you're a local business and you want to start collecting data. What is this? Sorry, a local restaurant, you want to start collecting data. What is the simplest thing you can do? One of the simplest things you could do is whenever a guest comes to establishments to patronize your services, you can have a book that you record the names of those guests in, if they consent, or you can have a Facebook page that you ask them to like, or you can take their contact details and tell them, hey, we'll be sending SMSs every now and then, if that's okay with you, or WhatsApp messages in case we have any new specials or any discounts. So the first step is actually collecting information about your customers. And it could be as simple as just recording it in a book, which a lot of businesses do this as the first step. Once you've recorded it somewhere, it could be in a book, later on you put it into an Excel sheet or a document. Once you've captured the information and it's digital, you can now more easily analyze it, look through it and find out, okay, this person, usually when they come and buy, they come on this day or they come at this time, or during this weekends, usually I have 20 people coming in, but during the week it is low, it is 5, it is 10. So you can really start simple, that you don't have to start with a lot of advanced software solutions depending on the scale of your business. So that's the first, the answer to the second question. The first question, which has to do with how do you build a business around data analytics if you want to start. So one of the ways you can do that is find problems and solve the problem. So for example, find a restaurant, find a local business, find an industry where there is some challenge, some problem, some inefficiency, some friction, whereby if you are able to apply data, or you can capture data, you can help them make the right decisions. So for example, you can help them stock the right items over there if it's a retail outlet. So there are opportunities for you if you can identify inefficiencies in various businesses or various sectors. You can apply data analytics skills in a consulting manner where you go and you help those businesses overcome those challenges that they have in order to achieve more profitable scenario or reduce costs. And that's one way in which you can build a data business.
Great. Thank you so much, Tim, for answering that question. There are a few more here. So there's a question here that was sent through. What analytics tools would you recommend to drive a telecommunication business?
Wow. Tara, do you want to speak to that?
I didn't get the last part of the question.
A telecommunications business. What kind of analytics tools would be helpful for a telecommunications business?
So, yeah, I mean, you'll have to could use a combination probably. The telecom business have a lot of data. There's a lot of transactions happening. There's a lot of data. So we've tried tools like Power BI, which works well in certain use cases to give us the insights that we're looking for. There are other tools in the market. Obviously, Tim and his team have a great platform as well to help businesses analyze and segment their data. But it will really depend on the scale of data that you have and what kind of it.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. So I mean, it's difficult to answer specifically without knowing a little bit more context about your scenario, the size of the organization, the volume of data that you have. Typically, telecommunications companies have a lot of data, a lot of transactions happening, millions or billions of transactions happening every day. That said, we are almost at time. We would love to continue the conversation. We'd love to answer any additional questions that you have. But I want to leave you with 2 more points, right? So in addition to the 5 steps that we went through today, I want to leave you with 2 more points. The first point is about customer intelligence. So customer intelligence is everything around understanding the behaviors of your customers, which, if done well, can help with the identification of the ideal customers, can help with acquisition of the right customers with the right channels, can help with serving the right combination of products or services, and also knowing which customers to retain and knowing which customers to upsell. Now, the second component is that once you have better intelligence about your customers, how do you act on it? How do you take appropriate actions, initiatives, campaigns in order to grow customer value? And that's where organizations like Beam are very, very valuable, because Beam has a communications platform that allows you to engage with your customers over different channels, SMS, voice, WhatsApp, chatbot. So you can craft different messages, different promotions. And instead of sending it to all your customers, which is one of the challenges that if you don't have different segments of customers you face, because you can't announce a discount for everybody or a promo for everybody. But now with platforms like what Beam has, you can actually send specific promotions, specific campaigns to specific sets of customers that you want to retain, you want to reward. And that's another way in which you can grow your business. We are at the end of time. We want to be very, very respectful of your time. We hope you found today's session very valuable, very informative. We would love to have you in the subsequent sessions as well. I just want to close with our contact details. If you have any questions, any inquiries, you can find us on social media, or you can email us at info@superfluid.io. We'd love to continue the conversation and also very especially receive your feedback. So my colleague Emmanuel has dropped a link in the chat, which has a feedback form. Please do complete it. Let us know what you liked about today's session, what you didn't like, what you would like to learn more of next time, so that we can craft the next session just as you expected. So like Winifred mentioned at the beginning, this is a series that we've begun. Our expectation is that we'll carry this out every month at least. We would love to have your input into making sure that this series is very valuable and helpful for you as well. I'd like to conclude by thanking Taha, and Winifred and Mabel for today's session. I don't know if there are any other last comments, Mabel or Winnie or Tada, you want to share as well?
No, just to say thank you to everyone, to the entire team for getting this done, those working behind the scenes, and then also for everyone who joined us and who invited others to join us. We are saying don't come and learn alone, invite others to join in for these free sessions and enjoy data-driven growth in 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone for joining.
Thank you.